The digital space is playing an increasingly bigger role in how Filipinos get information. But as social media becomes a key battleground for political messaging, questions remain over whether it is helping inform the public or just fueling disinformation. And to talk about this and other pressing matters, we are joined by the man who embodies the very definition of reinvention, from corporate executive to tech entrepreneur to sneakerhead collector, lifestyle creator, to now increasingly political and civic commentator. We have Carlo Ople.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, brother. I'm happy to be here today.
Pinapanood lang kita, sir, eh.
Pusho, ikaw nga pinapanood ko.
Baka si ano yung napanood, yung senador. Alright. Alam mo, paano nangyari, Carlo, yung shift from, or were you always talagang ano naman, papunta na talaga doon?
I think it was a confluence of several things. Unang-una sa lahat kasi, I treat content creation as a chronicle of who I am and what I like. So parang nung simula, it was about my career. It became about food pa nga at one point. It became about gaming. Tapos yun nga yung sneaker phase, alam mo yun. And then eventually, pumunta siya sa negosyo. And ngayon, itong pinag-usapan natin, which is more causes. No? So the content I create is a reflection of my journey in life. Na parang habang tumatanda ako, kung ano yung naging exciting para sa akin, ano yung kumbaga what sets my heart afire, yun yung ginagawa ko ng content.
Mas yung prism ng personal narrative pala.
Yeah, so parang one day yung pangarap ko is when people are curious about what it was I was fighting for or what it was that I love, they could just literally look at my content and they get to know me a little bit better.
Yung isa sa mga advocacies mo is yung tax.
Yes. Lahat kayo nakarelate dyan.
Yes. Maniwala kayo sa... Oo. Tapos, hindi ko na-gets, although nakita ko na naman, you see, the tax expert na suki mo, of course, idol natin yun. Simon Abrea. At mukhang may conspiracy na kayong dalawa, may pinaglalaban na kayo pareho.
Oo, meron kaming alignment. Ang tawag pala namin kay Mon ang resident super saiyan ng podcast. Kasi every time nandun siya, talagang gumaganon siya, kulang lang, manilaw yung buhok niya. But we are super in agreement dun sa income tax exemption, yung pagtaas ng cap from 250,000, yung binigay sa atin was 350,000.
Yeah.
Ang gusto sana namin ay maging 500,000, maging 800,000 eventually 1 million, and then index it against inflation. Yun yung gusto namin. Kasi yung pinanggagalingan is the people who pay the taxes, which are your middle class and your businesses, they keep getting the shorter end of the stick. Sila yung walang nakukuha masyadong benepisyo. Para sila nasa sandwich eh.
Yes.
Lalong-lalo na yung generation na to that have to support sometimes their parents and at the same time, may mga anak pa sila, di ba? So ang hirap nung situation ng middle class tsaka ng mga young businessmen and entrepreneurs.
Sila yung walang ayuda.
Correct. Exactly. Walang ayuda and yet they pay the most taxes and they put in the most work. And we feel like they should be the ones rewarded kahit papano. Or kahit wag mo man lang isipin reward, kahit bigyan mo man sila ng konting tulong, lalong-lalo na ngayon.
Parang, konting ano naman, sa amin yung bulk ng tapos yung pag-grow pa ng class na yon, doon magdedepende yung stability supposedly ng ekonomiya at sinasabi, upper middle class ang araw tayo. Pero,
Ramdam mo ba?
shaky pa. Isa sa mga pinag-iinitan mo ngayon, baha naman.
Oo.
Okay. Based sa mga nakausap mo, may connection ba yung pagmimigay ng ayuda ng ilang mga personalidad sa baha doon sa isa mo rin pinanggigigilan na the stopping of online advertising of gambling?
Gambling. Well, I think
Gaming.
Gaming. Ako, mas nakakainit na una. Well, I think there are different issues. In a way, they're kind of interconnected. Pagdating doon sa baha, matagal na natin pinaglalaban yan, even nung unang labas pa lang ng flood control. Kasi kahit sinong Pilipino naman talaga, doon magsisimula magalit. In fact, doon nagsimula yung pagiging more political ng content ko. Kasi nung nakita ko, I really couldn't parang stop myself from creating content about it anymore. Kasi if you think about it, parang town square on social media, and maraming tao doon nagsisigaw, and sometimes yung sinisigaw nila, it's all fake news or propaganda. And I felt like it's the responsibility of people to not abandon the town square just because people are shouting loudly. You have to shine the light on what the truth is and what the facts are. And especially if you have causes to champion. No? So ako, that was kind of like the calling I had and realization. And that's why I went to the space to talk more about it. Now, going back to flood control, obvious naman na lahat ng Pilipino, busit na nangyari doon. Mag-1 year anniversary na, kada baha, mag-anniversary, maalala natin lahat na nangyayari. But yung kagandahan ngayon is because of social media, parang natitable lahat ng mga bagay na pinag-iingayan ng lahat ng Pilipino. Parang yung agenda setting was taken away from closed boardrooms into the hands of people on their phones. Di ba napaka-powerful na realization on? Now when people complain, when people talk about issues, when people shine the light on things that are important, for some weird reason, which fortunately, the government actually looks at it and says, kailangan natin pagtunguhan ng pansin yan. So para sa akin, doon mo makikita yung powerful effect ng social media and ng content ngayon. Na it's no longer a way for you to just makikipagkwentuhan ka lang or gagawa ka lang ng content that entertains. You can actually have an impact on what policy will be prioritized, on what policy will be tackled by the government. And I think that's such a wonderful thing. And dyan papasok yung, kumbaga, constant pagtutok natin sa flood control. Dyan din papasok yung constant na pagtutok natin sa anti-advertising natin pagdating sa gambling. Kasi maraming buhay ng Pilipino ang nasisira pagdating dyan.
Ano pinaghuhugutan mo doon, Carlo?
For which was sa anti-gambling? Ay, Diyos ko, madami. Marami akong kakilala, some of them family members, nanulong talaga sa sugal. And kitang-kita mo yung effect, tsaka ripple effect niya to the entire family. To the kids, to the parents, to the future generation even of those kids. Kasi yung damage ng isang tao nalulong sa sugal, napakalalim. It affects future generations. And doon mo makikita yung kinyari pinaghirapan ng isang lolo na kinyari sabihin natin family assets or whatnot, napunta sa isang sabihin mong tao na medyo nalulong sa sugal, magiging irresponsible. Tapos parang lahat yun it has a cascading effect on future generations. And that's why it's so devastating. And also, makikita mo din sa mga minsan sa mga negosyo, di ba, yung mga ibang empleyado, nawawala na lang, umuutang na lang sa lahat ng mga tao para, kumbaga, masustain yung vision nila.
Yung tropa mo na hindi naman nangungutang,
Biglang humiharap ng pera.
for some reason, reach out sa'yo, tapos hiram, yun pala. Gusto kong sabihin, tol, kung sa drugs ba yan? Hindi daw eh.
Hindi. Pang-scatter nila.
Mas malala pa pala.
Oo. And ang mas nakakatakot, Lord, and nanggaling na mismo to dun sa kay PAGCOR Chairman Altenco, yung online gambling, ang tinatarget niyan, yung mga tao, yung mga Pilipino na mas less fortunate. Ang tinatarget talaga nila, yung mga tao na naghihirap na day-to-day, na don't have the luxury of actually gambling. Kunyari yung mga driver, Grab rider, sila yung perfect
Yung
target
anak mo
market.
kaibigan ng si Escudero.
Oo, yun, di ba? So, ang ano kasi, pag sila yung tina-target, sila na nga yung kailangan matuto ng financial education para makaahon. And yet, they're the ones tempted and being targeted with advertising when it comes to gambling. Kasi sila yung taong sanay tumingin sa telepono buong araw, sila yung may daily income na pumapasok, so pwedeng maging disposable, pwedeng isang tap lang, magsusugal na sila. So, yun din yung parang nakakalungkot na hindi lang yung mga mayayaman yung tina-target. Ang mas nakakadurog ng puso, yung mga mas kailangan matuto humawak ng pera, sila pa yung mas nalululong sa sugal. Kaya siya sobrang tinamaan yung puso ko.
At malalaman mo yung klase ng tinatarget nilang audience doon sa mga nag-endorsers sa kinukuha nila.
Exactly. And doon mo makikita na ang target nila mas bata. Kasi yun yung talagang tinatarget nila. Kasi ang medyo mas may edad na, paano ba na-explain? Mababa na lang ang customer lifetime value. Di ba? Pero pag tinatarget mo yung medyo bagets pa, mahaba-haba pa buhay niyan. Marami pang isusugal yan sa buong buhay niya. Kaya yung mga kinukuha nilang mga younger endorsers, younger celebrities, younger content creators, naku yan, isa pa yung nakakainit ng ulo. Yung paggamit ng ako na yung nagsusuper saiyan. Yung paggamit ng mga influencers sa pag-promote ng sugal, isa pa yung another issue altogether. Pero ang tinatarget talaga nila, you're the younger audiences and those na mas less fortunate na mga Pinoy.
Naniniwala ka ba na biological daw yung gambling addiction?
I think it's more of the environment that you are brought up in. Kasi kung lagi mo nakikita, sabihin natin, magulang mo, kaibigan mo, kamag-anak mo, parang ang nangyayari is nagiging curious yung mga tao. Tapos nabobombard ka ba ng advertisements araw-araw sa lahat ng medium? Nakikita mo pa yung paborito mong influencer na nagpo-promote ng sugal or nagla-livestream ng sugal. So ending, makikurious ka, so subukan mo na. Tapos doon na magsisimula yan. Kung wala kang self-control, lalong-lalo na sa online. Kasi ito yung difference eh. Pag sa casino, ang daming barriers. Di ba yung physically kailangan mong pumunta doon? Sa online, tatap-tap ka lang, nandun ka na kagad eh.
Shout out sa mga nasa loob ng cubicle dyan. Tagal lumabas. At may naririnig ang ching, ching.
Correct. And the apps are designed to be addictive. The apps are designed to hook you in. In fact, alam natin na maraming app design companies use consumer behavioral scientists para lahat ng features doon, yung kulay, yung sound, yung effects, yung movements are all meant to induce para ma-addict ka. Kaya nakakatakot.
Pero hindi ba by default ang mga ganong platforms are supposed to level up in terms of attracting? Kasi yun ang ano nila, yun ang nature ng kanilang negosyo. Kasi kung di nila gawin yun, parang hindi nila minamaximize yung potential nila.
I think it's part of the evolution of any business to go digital,
Yeah.
including gambling. However, it also means that countries and governments should have a very clear strategy on how to deal with it. Kasi iba-iba ang atake ng mga iba't ibang gobyerno pagdating sa online gambling. I think kumbaga pwede natin sabihin, we've been very liberal about online gambling here in the Philippines.
Correct.
In fact, to some extent, we've been very encouraging for online gambling dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi nga, I think sumabog siya nung panahon nakakatapos na ng COVID at naghahanap talaga ng pera yung gobyerno. Feeling ko doon talaga siya pinaka-nagugat.
Gaano kahirap mag-secure ng appointment with the presiding officer of the Senate impeachment trial?
Yun, that one, I think, doon talaga kasi nagkaroon kami ng alignment on interests pagdating doon sa anti-gambling advertising. Kami naman, kung saan nag-align yung mga passion namin tsaka mga causes namin, we try to work with people. Kasi alam mo, ito natutunan ko sa misis ko, shoutout kay Mitch, di ba? It's not enough na mag-ingay ka. You have to do coalition building to be able to affect policy. Yan ang matututunan ng isang 44-year-old na katulad ko. Hindi na pwedeng mag-ingay ka lang. Hindi na pwedeng mag-post ka lang. If you want to move the needle, as my wife always tells
Correct.
me, you have to put in the work. You have to see how you can tap your network, how to work with people, how to work with different organizations, how to work with policymakers to see how you can make bills turn into law and create meaningful change.
Oo. At yan yung unsexy part, pero yan din yung mahalaga.
Oo, kasi yun yung what you need to do to make the difference. Kasi if you're just going to make noise, if you're just going to make videos, yes, you will get attention. Yes, you will go viral. But going viral does not mean you create meaningful change. Meaningful change means working with different stakeholders, different policymakers, different organizations, and advocates to create that change that you want to happen.
Na-envision mo ba na dito pupunta?
Yes, actually, as early as 2006, nung nakita namin yung pag-usbong ng online games. Totoong games hindi sugal. Yung mga Ragnarok at yung mga ganong klaseng games.
Not the G word.
Oo, not that one. Doon pa lang nakita na namin na ang laki ng future ng digital kasi it allows for you to interact, it empowers commerce, it empowers businesses. So, ang pag-iisip ko lang noon, it's only a matter of time. Kaya din from a career perspective, nag-shift ako from traditional brand marketing to digital marketing. So, this was as early as 2005, 2006. So instead of focusing all of my attention in learning the typical marketing kumbaga skills, talagang binuhos ko lahat into analytics, digital marketing, digital advertising. Nagtrabaho ako sa Friendster for a time. Ewan ko kung naalala mo pa yon, ang Friendster. Mga testimonial,
Oo,
di ba?
pero nag-work ka doon?
Yeah, I worked there for 2009-ish. I can't remember what year.
Pwede ba ibalik yun?
Actually, bumalik na siya. I think may Friendster na ulit ngayon. Pero iba na yata yung ano nila. I'm not sure if it's a gaming or dating or whatever type of website.
Buti, at least ang panahon ng Friendster, people only had good words for each other.
Testimonials.
Di ba? Testis.
Correct.
Parang ang halay pakinggan. Parang anatomical part ng testis. Oo. Okay. May tanong ako. Na-alienate ba ng shift mo yung mga dati mong followers? Na iba-iba, of course, yung mga pinanggagalingan. Iba yung collectors. Iba yung sneakerheads. Iba yung tech, iba yung mga gaming din naman.
I'm a big believer na the algorithm of social media will deliver the content to the people who want to see it. So there's this saying by one of my favorite business content creators and idols, si Gary Vaynerchuk, we no longer live in the era of social media. We live in the era of interest media. Ibig sabihin nun, ngayon kasi, di ba before, yung content na napapakita natin are from people that we follow. Ngayon, the content that we see on our feeds are content that the algorithm feels that we are interested in, that we have engaged with in the past. So for me, the cue that I got from there is, I can literally be my raw self and talk about a multitude of issues. And the algorithm will be the one to take care, to deliver it to the people who want. So for example, pag pumunta kayo sa Facebook page ko ngayon, may picture doon na may nakita akong malaking Snorlax, inakap ko yung malaking Snorlax, tapos inuwi ko. Walang kinalaman yun sa politika. Tapos yung next post ko, nagreklamo ako doon sa proposal ng gobyerno na iba ng Facebook. Pagkatapos doon yung next post ko, picture ng Kirov. Alam mo ba yung Kirov? Naglaro ko ba ng Red Alert?
Hindi.
Basta malaki siyang blimp.
Alam ko, it's the ballet, di ba? The Kirov Ballet.
Well, this one is a big blimp that drops bombs. It's in a
Okay.
game. So,
Okay.
may picture ako noon na sabi ko, namimiss ko na maglaro ng game na to. Tapos biglang na-expose ko tungkol sa reklamo ko about gambling. So, hindi na yung uso yung dati na you niche down to just one topic. The algorithm will allow for you to express yourself as who you are. And it will be the one to take care to deliver the content to who wants to see it. Yun yung kagandahan ngayon.
May quote yung makatadang si Walt Whitman. Do I contradict myself? No. I contain multitudes.
Ang ganda nun. Pero parang ako kabaliktaran eh. Instead of contain, parang, let's go! Ibigay mo ang lahat sa mundo. Di ba? Lahat ng alam mo, lahat ng meron ka, lahat ng interest mo. Parang siguro that's being a very public person as well.
And for some reason, may point na may tahi lahat yung mga yan. May common thread na baka lang hindi pa maipapaliwanag ng mga tao yan sa puntong ito. Carlo, ano tawag dito? Yung isa rin sa mga mainit na usapan ngayon ay yung pag-ban sa Facebook access sa isang certain age,
Yes.
gano'n. Naalala ko nung ako ay teenager, may issue yung isang senador sa Amerika doon sa yung PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center, na nilalagay yung mga expletive language sa mga albums, so mga rap, heavy metal, mga punk albums. Dahil sinisisi nila at one point yung mga waves of violence doon sa mga pakikinig supposedly ng mga albums na yun. Sa tingin mo ba extension lang ito or baka iba na yung mga bata talaga ngayon?
I think una-una sa lahat, yung technology is growing at a much faster rate than our ability to understand what the impact will be on younger generations and future generations. Kasi hindi naman natin alam kung ano ba talaga magiging impact ng lahat nito 10 years, 15 years from now. Pero there have been signs already that can show that younger people, especially minors, might not be properly equipped to handle the pressures of social media. I'll give you an example. I became a content creator when I was 30 plus years old. So pag may nag-comment dyan na sinasabing mataba ka, hindi mo alam sinasabi mo, sa tingin mo may pake ako, Lord? Wala akong pake. Parang at the end of the day, ang iisip ko lang, engagement, mas madaming views, thank you. Kasi I've grown to be very resistant because of age. Diba? Kasi pag binugbog ka ng buhay, kahit ano pang sabihin sa'yo ng mga taong anonymous, wala kang pake. Kasi alam mo na yung pinaka-importanting opinion sa'yo are the opinions of people that matter to you and love you. And you shouldn't really care for opinions of people who don't have your best interest at heart. So ganun ako mag-isip. Pero what about an 11-year-old kid who started a YouTube channel? What about a 14-year-old girl na, kumbaga, sinasabi na you're not pretty enough on Instagram? What about, all of those younger people na kahit ngayon hindi natin alam gaano kalaki yung impact niyan sa magiging psychology at buhay nila. So, the Facebook ban at now, it might be reactive to all of the issues, but at the very least, it will give a pause and will allow for kahit papano for us to catch up to ano ba talaga magiging impact ng technology. Hindi pa nga natin alam ano magiging impact ng AI long term eh. Kung baka ngayon pa lang natin na-realize na ang grabe pala impact ng social media sa kabataan. Pero no one here knows what the impact of AI will be to our ability to learn, to do things, 'di ba? Yung paghihirap ba ngayon, lahat na lang ng bagay instant na lang, 'di ba? On a creative perspective, how does AI impact creative thinking, the creation process itself? So sometimes it's good to just pause. Kasi ang knee-jerk reaction ko, wag mo i-ban kasi I'm a very pro-digital person eh. Ang gusto ko lahat ng opportunities bigay sa lahat ng tao. Pero at the same time, na-realize ko din talaga, lalong-lalo na when I talk to a lot of young creators na hirap to cope with the pressures of social media, na baka at the very least, it's good to at least pause for now.
Ano yung pressure mostly ba? Ano yung common denominator sa pressure na nararamdaman nila? Ito ba yung parang the potential negative comments that they will...
It's two things. It's the negative comments that they can potentially get if they put themselves out there. And number two, the constant comparing of themselves with others that they see on social media. And I think that one can be the most dangerous.
Oo eh.
Kasi parang nakikita mo all of these pretty people, all of these handsome people, a lifestyle that you probably cannot afford, and yet you want to have. And then when you go home, nakita mo yung reality ng buhay dito sa Pilipinas, diba? Doon nagkakaroon ng negative pressure na parang naisip ng iba sa kanila na kawawa naman kami. Diba? So yun yung mga types of battles that they have to deal with on social media. And yet there are also other battles. For example, when you go to online spaces, the internet is an open space, which means that there are a lot of influences in social media that can talk to you, that can talk to your kids. Not all of them are good. Diba? Not all of them have the best of intentions. And that's why, again, I agree with the fact na one, kailangan muna iban, but it's from the perspective of I just want to slow down for a bit and assess and see where this all goes. Sana wag permanent. Maybe in the future when there are studies that come out na there's a better way to handle it, to empower the younger generation, to protect the younger generation, let's go down that route. Pero for now, at the very least, we should pause and take a look and study kasi may parating pang mga bagong technology na hindi pa nga natin naiisip what the impact will be.
Relax, maapektuhan lang yung pag-announce niyo ng schedule ng mga klase kung tuloy ba o hindi. Or yung mga assignments o yung mga reading,
Correct.
mga ganun. Yun lang naman marami namang nabuhay na wala nung wala yan.
Correct, exactly.
Wala yan. Alright, so interesting ano. So, ang weird, may mga hate ka pa rin nakukuha.
Ay, madami. Iba-iba.
Sino mostly, of course, hindi naman aamin yung marami doon. Pero sa tingin mo, anong suspecha mo sa mga taong ito? Ito ba ay, kumbaga mga kaanib ng influencer na kaanib ng mga ini-endorse nilang ini-endorse sila mga online gaming companies?
I think, actually surprisingly, pagdating dun sa advocacy natin sa anti-gambling, wala masyadong haters pagdating doon. In fact, it's majority, like overwhelmingly in favor of the cause that we fight for. Puro, siguro mga 90 to 95% will be in agreement na dapat iba niyan, dapat ipagpigilan. I think yung majority ng mga negative comments, naguguluhan kasi sila kung ano ba yung political side that I favor. Parang yun yung joke namin palagi sa team. Parang one day, makita mo, may sisigaw doon, DDS ka. Tapos biglang the next day, may sisigaw doon, Piklawan ka. Tapos biglang the next day, may maglalagay doon, well, loyalista ka. Kasi sometimes nga, when I post content, I don't really take a look at what are the colors. Kasi, sorry I can think for myself. I don't have to bow down and worship these politicians because you shouldn't. Diba? You shouldn't. Parang you should practice critical thinking and you should be, if there's one thing you should be pro, it's pro-Filipino. So ako yun yung stance ko ever since. So I think people are annoyed na hindi ka clearly identified with a particular camp and they use that as an excuse to say na you're not part of them, mali ka, kasi you're supporting ganito. Pero ako, at the back of my head, pinipili ko lang naman yung mga issues that matter.
Everything is a dichotomy to them.
Exactly. It's either you're with them or you're against them, which is sad.
Isa sa mga advocacies mo ay ilang beses ka na nag-guest ng mga USEC, no? Ng gobyerno
Several, yeah.
na may kinalaman sa kuryente.
Yeah.
Ikaw ba'y bumili na ng electric-powered vehicle?
We have a hybrid car.
Yun.
May reason kung bakit. So nag-guest namin sa mga kaibigan namin content creator si James Deakin.
Yeah.
Meron kaming conspiracy theory.
Bumili na rin siya, di ba?
Oo, meron din siya. Ang conspiracy theory namin, ang mga kotse minsan nagiging parang it's going down the route of gadgets. Ang gadgets kasi may planned obsolescence. Ibig sabihin, after 5 to 10 years, tong teleponong to, bibili ka na ng bago kasi nasira na yung baterya, mabagal na yung RAM or whatsoever. Ang kagandahan ng lumang kotse na degas, basta alagaan mo yan, i-maintain mo yan, 10, 20, 30 years. Di ba? Kaya nga uso ang mga vintage cars.
Yes.
So ako, nung bibili ako ng kotse, alam ko na yun. So inisip ko, parang mas gusto ko yata na medyo, at yung compromise, hybrid, di ba? So doon ako kumuha. Yung at least in the middle, habang gusto ko makita kung talagang aabot ba sa punto na yun, every 5 years na lang, kailangan mo bumili ng bagong EV. I'm sure those fears are unfounded and a lot of EV companies will say otherwise. It's just that, from my perspective, I want to be dun muna sa gitna. Wag muna tayo dun sa pinakasagad.
Yung kinuha mo ba may 3 letra yung pangalan?
Hindi.
Hindi?
Yun. Hybrid nga yung kinuha ko hindi full.
May hybrid naman yun eh.
Di ko alam na may hybrid sila.
Nagsisimula sa letter B?
Hindi yun yung kinuha na.
Hindi.
Oo.
Pag-usap tayo
Kukwento ko sa'yo mamaya. Sobrang tipid sa gas. Like, nakalahati yung gas namin.
Di ba?
Sobrang tipid.
Oo eh.
Sobrang okay siya.
At hindi totoo yung tataas yung kuryente ninyo. Konti lang na konsumong kuryente. No?
Oo. Kumbaga, at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of solutions for everyone.
Correct.
You just have to pick the one that matches your needs and your... Tsaka siguro ito yung pinaka-totoo reason ba't di kami nag-full EV. Nakatira ako sa condo.
Tama.
Wala namang EV charger yung condo. Diba? So, wala akong choice. Doon talaga ako sa hybrid. Diba? At least nakakatipid pa rin.
I see. Pero ang problema, mamimiss mo yung gasolinahan ninyo.
Namin? Mamimiss ko ba?
Yung local neighbor. Parang yung kawawa naman yung mga gas companies. Nalulugi na sila.
Ay, wow. Pagkatapos ng
Kawawa
record-breaking revenues nila from last year, I don't think so.
Diba? Iyayabang na record-breaking revenues tapos atras. Paxili ka, may opinion ka na.
Ay, madami. And ito siguro yung pinaka-polarizing topic that every time I talk about, people, like half the room gets angry, half the room agrees. Kailangan talaga siya pag-aralan to see how it can work. Kasi sobrang napag-iwanan na tayo sa buong mundo when it comes to industrializing, when it comes to kumbaga to really embracing digital and really embracing what our role is in the world order when it comes to digital and AI. So, ang laki ng opportunities pagdating doon. But again, there are also a lot of risks. And wala pa naman talaga actual agreement that has been signed. Wala pang very specific details on what will be done. So ako, ang take ko on it is keep an open mind. Pagtingnan lang natin kung ano yung mangyayari.
Umatras na ang Indonesia at yung ay mayroong ang Thailand may ano
Siam Silica.
parang ganun Siam Silica. So hindi ba parang medyo blinking warning sign na 'yon?
There's definitely concerns. 100%. Like sabihin natin kung ano ba talaga yung mga concerns doon. Those have to be raised and discussed. But at the same time, kailangan din natin tingnan ano ba yung spirit. Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, di ba minimina lahat ng mga materials dito. Pagkatapos nun, pinapadala yan sa ibang bansa para i-process at i-refine. Yun yung missing link natin eh. So, yun yung magandang pag-aralan. Pag nagawa mo yun dito, that will create so much economic opportunity. Again, I'm not saying na we should jump into it with our eyes closed and take everything saying yes, no? But there has to be that discussion. There has to be that analysis. Kasi kung wala, baka naman we're throwing away something, di ba, na makakatulong pala. At the end of the day, it's about compromise eh.
So much impassioned debate about something na lahat ay nagsispekulate pa lang.
Correct, wala pa napipirmahan. Di ba? Mangyayari pa yan later down the road.
Walang technology transfer.
Oo.
Ang mapupuntang trabaho dyan, mga low-level jobs lang yan. Mga
Correct, di ba? Pero ang dami yan na pwedeng pag-usapan pa as the months go by. So ako, ang appeal ko sa atin mga kababayan, let's keep an open mind. Let's keep our ears open, makinig tayo, and then assess as the facts come. Kasi again, yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba, pagdating sa town hall, ang dapat manaig na malakas na boses is yung boses that speaks the truth and speaks the facts, not fake news. So antayin natin maglabasan lahat yan, and then we can make our own formed analysis and recommendation if it's something we should do ba or not.
Tsaka yung pangalan nila dapat palitan eh.
Hindi ko nga naintindihan ba't yun yung pangalan eh.
Diba, i-assume mo parang, okay, it's after Pax Romana supposedly. Kaya naman mayroong peace, decades of peace yun. Kasi kinonquer na lahat nila yung mga lands.
Exactly.
Parang ina-assume mo, so ano parang sinakop nyo rin kami?
Tas may ancestral land pa daw doon, di ba? Again, those are things that are coming out. So yun yung mga kailangan pag-usapan.
O, yung mga imperialist flashbacks of sorts. Okay, Carlo, top 3 sneakers of all time.
Of all time, ang paborito ko ngayon. Kasi iba yun eh.
Nga pala, sinasabi mo na napakaraming perang nawala generational dahil sa gambling. Pinasok mo watch collecting. Nako! Mas mura pa mag-drugs, Carlo. Sinasabi ko sa'yo.
Huwag tayo doon.
Bakit mo ginawa sa sarili mo yan?
Ang relos?
Yes.
Ay, ano naman ako? Tinan mo relos ko ngayon. G-Shock. Hindi naman kailangan Swiss pala.
Ganda.
Hindi naman kailangan yung tig-1,000. But anyway, going back to the sneakers.
Yeah.
So, favorite sneakers of all time. Unang-una sa lahat, siguro Air Force One. Kasi ang ganda lang talaga ng kwento tsaka ng itsura. Bagay siya sa mga taong katulad ko na medyo malaki. Di ba? So, ganda nung look. Lalo na yung triple white, napakalinis. So, paborito ko yun. Pangalawa siguro, I'll go to the more modern selection ko siguro of shoes. Any of the new comfort era shoes, 'di ba yung mga medyo mas matataba ng konti na medyo malalambot yung ilalim. Ako paborito ko Hoka Cliftons kasi it's built for people who have flat feet. So yung paa ko kasi flat, so kailangan ng additional support. So yung Cliftons, kahit
Hindi aesthetics to Hindi aesthetics.
Pero maganda rin naman itsura. May lahat naman. Yung kagandahan kasi ngayon, lahat naman ng sapatos, may kulay na gusto mo. Kung gusto mo triple white, kung gusto mo orange, kung gusto mo purple, kung gusto mo iba-ibang kulay, all the brands,
Nahit
diba?
yung term colorway. Naiinis ako sino nagpauso.
Kasama yan sa usapan. So,
Number 3.
and any of the...
So Nike, Hoka,
Tas siguro yung the shoe that got me hooked on sneakers in the first place, lalo na ng mga early, I think mga 2018 ba yun? Yung Off-White Presto. Collaboration ni Virgil Abloh and Nike. Off-White OG Presto. That's up until today one of my favorite sneakers.
may God rest his soul.
Oo nga.
So may fashion bent ka pa talaga, pala talaga, ano?
It really depends on what I find comfortable. Kasi hindi naman ako fashionista in the way na tipong mayroon ako specific aesthetic tsaka specific look na gusto. Kumbaga, what I find comfortable, what I resonate with, what I like, doon talaga ako nag-gravitate toward. So for example, ngayon, sobrang paborito ko itong mga Nuragi type jackets
Yes.
kasi ang ganda lang talaga ng itsura. Ito ang ganda, may Filipino influence to. These are weaves from Davao, di ba? Or Mangyan yata na nakita namin na ginawa nila at nilagay nila dito. So ang ganda lang nung pagdikit nung both cultures. So dito ako nag-enjoy ngayon sa mga ganitong klaseng, kumbaga, aesthetic.
Okay, as collector, di ba sabi niya, parang primal extension daw yun ng hunter-gatherer mentality. As,
I like that.
Di ba parang, me, go cave.
Bonk.
Oo.
Bring home.
May connection ba ito, as collector ba, ano yung next phase mo?
As a collector? Oh, that's such a good question. I think from a material perspective, hindi mo mawala sa akin that I always want to collect things. Kasi through the years, I end up collecting different things depending on what I'm passionate about. From technology, to sneakers, to trading cards.
Completist ka ba?
Hindi. Kasi completist, di ba, you want the entire
Yeah.
selection. I'm more of parang, kung ano yung nagugustuhan ko specific line, I'll just focus on that. So for example, ngayon, natutuwa ako kay Snorlax. So, Pokemon cards sa Snorlax. So, alam niyo siya, napakadami kong Snorlax
Mahal
cards
daw yun,
Hindi, binibili ko lang yung mura, yung mga tigti 300, 400. So,
yung isang senador, collector din ng Pokemon.
ay, customer namin siya.
Wow!
Pupunta sa unbox yun, namimili minsan ng Pokemon cards.
So wag mo nang papasukin, relo at vinyl collecting.
Ay, sinabi mo
Mas
pa.
mura mag-drugs, sinasabi ko sa'yo.
Pero either of those three, hindi ko papasukin. Vinyl collecting, watches, and drugs. Iwasan natin yan.
Alright, on that note, happy to end the weekend with the talk. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, brother. I
Carlo
appreciate it.
Ople, tech and business expert and content creator and eternal collector.